Patrick Tufts, and this is Your Community at Your Service, a program about Granite United Way's activities here in the greater Concord area. Today we're joined by two very dedicated United Way volunteers. We have Tori Berube from Granite State Management and Resources. Hi, Tori.
Hi.
Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
And we have Nicole Schultz-Price from Soloway and Hollis.
Hello.
Nicole, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We're going to spend about 29 minutes together just talking about how to get involved with the United Way and what it's meant to you in your careers. So Tori, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do and your interaction with the United Way?
For my real job, I work at the NEAF Network organizations, or also known as Granite State Management and Resources here in Concord. And we are the leading agency in the state that teaches families how to plan and pay for college. So I work with a group of people who go across the state, and we, for free, teach people how to plan and pay from kindergarten through folks who might be returning to education at a later point in life. So great fun. And that sort of led, that type of outreach has sort of led to my involvement with the United Way for nearly 20 years.
That's great. And what a great fit between your organization, the work that you do, and United Way with our focus on health, income, and education.
Right.
Nicole, how did you get involved and what do you do for your day job?
For my day job, I'm an attorney with Soloway and Hollis, which also ties into how I got involved.
Yep.
I work very closely with Rob Lanny, who's a partner at the firm and who's also dedicated a large amount of time to this organization. He brought me to one of the United Way events. I met a lot of good people. He also introduced me to the CIC and CRT committees, and I became involved, and here I am.
Great. Now, for those of you watching, CIC is our Community Impact Committee, lead decision makers at the United Way on how all of our money is invested. CRTs are the group that support the CIC. They're the ones who actually review actual applications. Nicole, you've been doing that for about 3 years. What's that process like?
I have. The community review team is educational, to say the least. I've learned about agencies in this community, which I probably never would have come in contact with otherwise, but are very important to the people in the community and to the community, globally. I've been on the CIC committee for just this first year. This is my first year, and it's a very intense but rewarding experience as well.
Great. What we do is very intense. It's very rewarding, and most people think of the money raising part of United Way. Tori, you've been on both sides of the fence.
I have.
Given the money away, you've worked on Day of Caring, and you've raised the money. Tell us a little bit about your experiences on both of those things.
Well, it's been really interesting in that I have sat on a committee where you've tried to decide where the funds that are raised actually go, and it is intense, and it's interesting, and you learn so much about your community. But recently I've served on the campaign cabinet, which is a group of folks who work to have annual campaigns run in workplaces or locations throughout Merrimack County to raise those funds that are then allocated by that Community Impact Committee. And it's interesting. I work with the education division, so I work with schools, local colleges and universities, school districts. But we have folks on our committee who work with attorneys and professional organizations in the state, or local nonprofits, or major corporations in the city. And collectively, these people raise these funds through workplace employee campaigns where they're donating, or their monies are taken out each week through payroll deduction. And that's been really interesting to see how that works. But there are lots of ways that people can give financially. That just happens to be one of the easiest ways, is through an employee contribution on a biweekly or weekly basis.
Yeah. Most people think of United Way, they think of I gave at the office.
Right.
It's very part of our culture for so many years. But what people don't understand is, as we raise the money, there's such a network of people behind giving the money away. The United Way staff don't decide where the money goes. It's volunteers in the community, educators, attorneys coming together. Nicole, what's the group, let's say the CRT, when you serve on one of those groups, what's that like? Who are some of the people who make it up?
Oh boy, it's very diverse, which is perfect because the community is very diverse. And so it only makes sense that community members come from all walks of life. And making the decisions that affect the community. There's a couple of other attorneys, there's educators, like you said, bankers, there's people, auto mechanics, there's people from all walks of life. So it's been everyone has their own perspective, and everyone has been involved in some way or has some knowledge about these organizations that others don't, and so everyone's perspective is equally valid.
Yeah. It's one of the greatest things about United Way really is the diversity of the organization. Attorneys, educators, police officers, people who work in the corporate world. That's how we make the decisions that we make. It really is a civic process. Tori, you've done some other things with United Way, specifically engaging large amounts of volunteers to go out and help us on projects. What are some of those things?
Well, it's one of my favorite days of the entire year, and it's our annual Day of Caring. And one way that we help educate the community about all the work that the United Way does in the community is through this thing called Day of Caring. And last year in 2011, we had over 400 volunteers, with 100 of them coming from Lincoln Financial Group here in the city, doing 60 projects at either United Way qualified partner agencies or other local nonprofits in the area. And it's a great day where they're getting all of this wonderful volunteer service, clearing trails, painting a room, reading to children, visiting the elderly, working out at Live and Let Live Horse Rescue Farm in Chichester,
Yeah.
always a big one. But it's a great way to learn about your community and to understand the needs of your community. When you think, oh, I don't know anybody who might need that service, there's always some agency that the United Way partners with on Day of Caring, and these volunteers out doing work in the community that you realize, yeah, they fill a need, and there's some need that I need that the United Way serves. But it's a great day. So we go out, we send volunteers out for 3-hour shifts across the city, across the county actually, and they get to be on site and understand what these agencies do. So they might be picking up a paintbrush, they might be reading to children, but they engage, they see the agency, they see who the agency serves. It's a great day. It's a great day.
It really is. The 15 years that I've been doing United Way, the annual Day of Caring really is my favorite day. Well over 1,000 people across Granite United Way's footprint go out and give that day of service. Another great thing that we do is the U.S. Postal Food Drive. We partner with them annually, something that we do, but it really is the Postal Service that does a nice job with it, along with United Way volunteers. We have a clip that we want to show our audience that shows what just happened in our community. Tori and I will talk over it a little bit just so you know what's going on. Tori, so we see the Postal Service, and I don't think there's mail in that truck.
Well, there might have been mail originally, but what you're looking at is the first Saturday in May, typically. The Postal Carriers Association, when they're up picking up your mail or dropping off your mail, they're also picking up non-perishable food, which they deliver to our friends at New Hampshire Distributors, who were so kind enough to give us their warehouse year after year. And what you're looking at is all of these United Way volunteers who are sorting. This year it was about 5.5 million pounds, 5.5 tons, I'm sorry,
Wow.
of non-perishable food. So you can see they're sorting them and sticking them in boxes like boxes of cereal and boxes of pasta. And the nice thing that happens is another collaboration of the Granite United Way here in Merrimack County, in that we work with the Capital Region Food Program, who then takes that food and actually distributes it to their partner agencies that they work with. So in the morning when you, as a local resident, have put your food out, you can know that by that afternoon, your food is sitting on a local food pantry shelf somewhere in Merrimack County.
That's great. I mean, what a great collaboration and partnership.
It is.
And again, as the United Way guy, I know that most people think of us as a fundraiser and somebody who might ask them for support at their organization, but there's so much more to what we do on the volunteer end.
It is, and the nice thing about this day for volunteering is that it's folks like you and I at our age, but it's also mums and dads who bring their 6-year-old to learn how to sort food and to explain to them why we're sorting food, because there are people in our community who are in need, and this is a good thing to do. So the nice thing is that you start to see the families come back year after year, and it becomes a tradition. And one of the things that's nice is that you see, you didn't see it in the clip, but when the food is actually packed and put onto these trucks, when these nonprofits come in, it's the Key Club from Concord High who comes and helps, stack the food in the trucks. And it really becomes this very big collaborative effort throughout the community for this 6-hour period of time on a Saturday in May. And it's a nice repeatable thing that happens every year in our community, and not many people are aware of the depth of it.
Yeah, it's, again, so illustrative of our work. You know, lots of people behind the scenes, lots of people giving of their time and their talent to do a good thing that makes our community such a great place. Nicole, I'm going to change direction a little bit. We were talking earlier, as a young professional here in the community with a family and a young child, United Way is good for all the reasons that we just explained. Doing a great thing for your community. But tell me a little bit about what it does for you professionally. An attorney here in the community, does it help with networking? Does it help you meet other people, understand the community, any of those things?
All of those things.
Oh.
Probably more importantly, understanding the community.
Yep.
Certainly I've made contacts. I'm not sure that it's improved my business per se,
Yeah.
but I would definitely say that it's improved my enjoyment in the community.
Great.
And my ability to assist the community, help
Yeah.
the community give back. I think that it's networked within my law firm. A lot of people within have given their time to United Way, and I think that's kind of pulled us together, and we all appreciate each other's hard work. I do think that we've made contacts,
Yep.
that if people are in need of certain law services, that we're available for that, and they feel
You're the good
comfortable
guys.
talking to me, and
Yeah.
we certainly are.
One of the coolest things that I think illustrated for me professionally the depth of what the United Way does is that a few years ago I was reviewing an agency's application for funds during the year, and one of the things they had submitted at the time was a video to talk about their program. And I realized that one of the people who worked for me was actually receiving funds from the United Way and had benefited from those funds. And it really made me understand that the work I do for the United Way really comes back to even those people that I work with every day who use a United Way service. And that really is impactful, personally and professionally.
It really brings the message home. I mean, our services last year served well over 150,000 people. And those are our neighbors or our friends. New Hampshire's a small state. Concord is a small community. And, participation in what we do really does make it a better community. And it's something that I think the hundreds of volunteers that we work with really feel good about. Our return rate on people who do the CRTs or the CICs or do the Day of Caring are in the 80 and 90% year to year.
It's a habit.
Yeah, people do come
You see
back.
the same faces
They really
each
do
year.
like it, and people have a smile on their face. The staff here in Concord is a relatively small staff. I saw Val in the clip. Val Guy does a wonderful job here in Concord. She had her Live United shirt on there. But there's really only 3 or 4 staff here in the greater Concord area. Without you guys as volunteers, this isn't happening.
Right.
So we have a few things that we want to talk about via some clips. And they're going to take a couple of minutes. We'll come back to Tori and Nicole, and we'll drill down to some more specific projects. We'll talk a little bit more about Day of Caring,
Great.
VITA, Earned Income Tax Credits, and early literacy as some things that we hope that you're interested in seeing. So we're going to cut to some clips.